Welcome to Basic and Bookish Podcast, where today we are recapping A Court of Frost and Starlight, Book 4 of the ACOTAR series by Sarah J Maas. I'm Kinsey.
And I'm Karly. Join us as we enter the Maasverse, preparing for the highly anticipated release of ACOTAR 6 through 8.
This is part of our Massive Maasverse Mayhem Crash Course season, where we will cover favorite ACOTAR, Throne of Glass, and Crescent City moments, world building and lore breakdowns, ACOTAR 6 theories, and more before the sequel's release on October 27th, 2026. And once ACOTAR 6 is here, we'll be right by your side to recover from the inevitable cliff-hangover before ACOTAR 7's release on January 12th, 2027. And yes, we will be updating our theories between releases.
And with that, content warning and spoiler alert. This episode is full of ACOTAR Book 4, A Court of Frost and Starlight spoilers. So if you haven't read the book, go do that first, and we'll be here waiting for you when you get back.
Due to the nature of this book, this podcast is rated R in content and language. If you'd like to skip the ads and have access to full video formats, it's available now on Patreon. That link can be found in our show notes.
Now prepare to dive into the cauldron because we're entering the Maasverse. This is the mostly plotless winter solstice holiday special where our characters are recovering from the war with Hybern and celebrating life. Honestly, not too much happens except for them buying each other solstice gifts and us learning random lore drops as well as a few other key moments.
There's growing dissent amongst the Illyrians, unhappy with losses taken in the war. Unlike how the Inner Circle dealt with them after Amarantha, they can't kill the rival clans this time. Instead, they have to be strategic. Cassian buys warm clothes from Emery, a shopkeeper who lost her father in the war, and he has Emery donate them to people in need as a gift from their High Lord. Azriel gathers names of Illyrians complaining the loudest, including Callan, a warrior novice who hasn't participated in the blood rite yet. Cassian continues with his passion project of ensuring more Illyrian females are given the opportunity to train and for longer each day.
Mor, Rhysand, and Feyre meet with Keir and Eris in the hewn city before the winter solstice, mostly to see what those two males are up to. Keir and Eris know the Inner Circle closely monitors their actions, so they haven't done anything crazy yet. The same can be said for members of the Court of Nightmares who've started visiting Velaris. Keir hasn't visited yet, but he will soon, much to Mor's dismay.
Rhysand asks Mor if she'd be willing to go on a mission for him, which could potentially take months or even years. He wants Mor to act as a spy and courtier to infiltrate kingdoms on the continent in a move for peace, since nobody has created a new treaty after the war. Mor doesn't want to appear weak to her father and Eris for running from them, but part of her is itching to leave Velaris for this mission.
Eris warns that his father Baron, High Lord of the Autumn Court, is wanting to extend his border into the human lands, and Tamlin would be the one responsible for stopping him, which means paying Tamlin a visit. While Rhys is in the Spring Court, Feyre befriends Ricinia, an artist who helped to defend the rainbow during Hybern's attack. She learns of an abandoned art studio whose owner died and begins to paint in this studio, including a portrait of herself in the Ouroboros mirror.
Tamlin's court is empty, and he's definitely seen better days. Rhysand tells him of Baron's threat, but since Tamlin has no sentries, there's nothing he can do about it and refuses Rhysand's men. They leave on bad terms, with Rhysand declaring that Tamlin deserves everything that's happened to him. Rhysand comes back a second time and says that Varian has requested Tarquin's soldiers to guard Tamlin's border instead. Before leaving, Tamlin asks Rhysand if he and Feyre will ever forgive him, not just for how Feyre was treated, but also for the death of Rhysand's family. The answer is no, and Tamlin does not deserve forgiveness.
While all of this is going on, everyone is shopping for gifts throughout Velaris. Everyone but Nesta, who's taking the death of their father harder than anyone else. She's traumatized by that final battle with Hybern and refuses to talk to anyone besides Feyre, Elaine, and Amren, and is actively pushing her sisters away, initiated by Nesta moving into a dilapidated apartment. With numbness rarely replaced by rage, Nesta turns to substance abuse and sex as a distraction. Her actions upset the Inner Circle, but they aren't very sympathetic towards her trauma. Feyre begs Nesta to attend the winter solstice celebration, promising to pay for Nesta's rent if she comes.
Lucien, who is supposed to spend solstice with Tamlin, was apparently uninvited and returned to Velaris early. He briefly met with Feyre to drop off gifts for her and Elaine. Lately, Lucien has grown close to Queen Vassa and Jurian, who are setting up shop in the human lands south of the Spring Court. Vassa is still trying to find a way to break her curse, and she and Jurian are organizing the humans who've never had a mortal king or queen before. Feyre asks if Lucien would rather spend his time with them, and Lucien admits that, yes, the three of them now call themselves the Band of Exiles. Lucian takes this now as his cue to leave because he's just as welcome in the night court as Spring.
Elaine is slowly healing through gardening and baking pastries with Nuala and Caradwyn, but still wants nothing to do with Lucian. Feyre is upset with Elaine for not even trying to be remotely nice, but Elaine declares she didn't want to become Fae and didn't ask for a mate. That said, Elaine has no issue growing closer to Asriel.
Cassian and Feyre get in the holiday spirit by half-decorating for solstice when, in actuality, they got too drunk to be productive. Asriel took over the job, but not before being caught drinking an entire bottle of expensive wine by Rhysand. The decorations look horrible, but this doesn't stop the holiday spirit. The inner circle, plus Elaine, have Solstice Eve dinner together. Asriel helps Elaine set the table and defensively makes everyone wait to eat until Elaine returns. Dinner is otherwise informal, with Amren discussing how tedious it is to eat real food and the after effects of food as well.
The morning of winter solstice, Rhysand and his Illyrian brothers leave for their annual snowball fight tradition at Rhys's family cabin. Mor and Feyre watch as they pelt themselves with snowballs, not using their wings or magic, battling it out until they have frostbite. In the end, Asriel wins and the Bat Boys warm up in a sauna. Well, Cassian and Asriel warm up inside the sauna. Rhysand is kicked out for getting a hard-on courtesy of Feyre sending him provocative images through their bond.
I hate when that happens. Back in Valaris, Feyre is surprised by a birthday cake baked by Elaine, decorated by Nuala to look like the dresser Feyre had painted years ago, with her stars being the foundation of the cake. Shortly after, gifts are exchanged. Amren brought Varian with her to celebrate since the summer court doesn't participate in their holiday. To everyone's surprise, Nesta does arrive, but is judged not only for her tardiness, but also her habits. Nobody thought to buy Nesta a gift except for Elaine.
And Cassian, who searched for months for the perfect gift for Nesta, but Cassian was too shy to share it in front of everyone else. After Nesta receives her check from Feyre and storms out of the crowded townhouse, Cassian chases after her and tries presenting his gift, but Nesta refuses. Unkind words are exchanged between the two of them, and Cassian doesn't follow a second time as Nesta storms off. Instead, he throws his gift into the Sidra River and flies overhead to make sure Nesta arrives safely in her less-than-nice neighborhood.
Mor reflects on her answer to Rhysand's mission and spends some time at her secret estate that none of the inner circle has ever been to. There, she warms up to the idea of leaving. While riding her horse through the misty, ancient forest of her estate, Mor sees a strange patch of darkness with a mysterious magic that feels familiar and not, different from Asriel's shadows. Her magic tells her to not approach, and so she leaves that patch of darkness behind.
Over the next few days, Feyre received additional gifts from her mate and, surprisingly, the previous art studio owner's family. The owner's sister offers Feyre the studio free of charge, recommending that Feyre donate the money she would have spent towards artists. Instead, Feyre decides to use the space for art therapy and invites children and families impacted by the war for free art lessons and supplies to help them heal.
Rhysand gifts Feyre an estate along the river, saying she can build a home and make whatever she wants in this house. Which is convenient since the townhouse is too small to fit everyone and nobody likes being in the House of Wind. Rhysand suggests Feyre build a nursery since the previous night Feyre went through a change of heart and decided she wants to start a family with Rhysand, who was more than happy to try for a kid. More than once. For a Winter Solstice book, it packs quite a bit of heat. We end with Feyre and Rhysand grateful to be alive, declaring their love for one another and recognizing the future challenges they'll face with the Lyrians and mortal queens.
And this is where we leave you today, Basic Book Besties. Thank you so much for listening. Please leave us a review and join us for our next episode where we are discussing our favorite moments, foreshadowing, and characters from A Court of Frost and Starlight. If you need more bookish content, we have spice ratings, Force Wing deep dive topics, our thoughts on recent adaptations, and more. If you stick around, we have really fun author interviews scheduled and discussions on some of our favorite contemporary romances.
You can join us over on Patreon where you can access all of our episodes ad-free, 3 days early, and in full video. Plus extras like exclusive book club access, shoutouts on the show, and a PDF play-by-play recap of ACOTAR books 2 through 4. You'll find our Patreon link in the show notes, along with all the ways you can support the podcast.
Don't forget to stay in the loop by following us on social media and joining us in our Discord chat. Who knows, you might just meet your next book bestie there. You can also check out our website, basicandbookishpod.com, for info about our upcoming seasons, our contact form, and more. We'll link that down in the show notes.
We'll be back next time. Until then, prepare to crash out over ACOTAR 6 as we continue to crash course our way through the Maasverse.